Hey guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Extra Lenny podcast. We're back, everybody. We're back. So, I got a lot of positive feedback from the last one that you guys wanted this to be a recurring thing, and because I've always wanted to do something like this, I thought, why not? Why don't we actually turn this into a regular thing? I have a question. If we're all going to not exist someday, what's the point of doing it now? That's going to be the topic of today. I found this question on Quora, and someone had asked that and had given some of the arguments of why it's pointless, like life as a whole, and everything is pointless if we're all going to just die someday. And I found it interesting, and I wanted us to talk about it and look at it and kind of hear them out and then give our thoughts about it in the end. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to go straight into it. I'm not going to waste a lot of time this time. I think on the last episode I took a little bit of a long time to start. And I'd like us to start with the arguments that propose this argument. What? Was that statement even correct? Okay. I don't even know. So, the first argument that they give is that from the second you're born, you are put into a system, into a matrix that you are subject to till the day you die. And then, by then, you will have put someone else into the system and the loop continues. I'm going to be giving a breakdown of what this system or quote unquote matrix is. Let's start with the first one. You're born, and that's your introduction to the system. You're born, you're taken to school. And school teaches you what? They teach you stuff that some of them you're never even going to use. And you're made to believe that if you fail some test, you're dumb. You go home just to become some unpaid labor. You become a teenager, which is an entire Pandora's box on its own. You finish school, you get a job, you work your entire life, you maybe start a family somewhere along those lines and then introduce someone else into the system. Maybe live up to 80 and watch everyone you ever knew die. Live miserably for the last few years of your life and then die. And by then, be forgotten, just like some other people who have lived before you who you don't have any idea exist. So it's sounds so pointless. Like it sounds like a system that they're talking about. That a system that from the minute you're born, you're put into this system and a routine, and just how you almost have your life planned out for you even before you begin or even have the chance to do anything. You're already into a specific system that is set for you, and that you have to go through and then introduce someone else into the system, and then they introduce someone else, and then they introduce someone else, and the loop continues until we all cease to exist, and then we're all extinct, whenever that was going to be. And first of all, I'd like to look at that first one, the first step in the system, I think, which is school, and where they said that you're made to believe that if you fail a certain test, then you're not smart, or you don't reach the standards or whatever. So many doors are closed down on you because you're not able to pass a specific test. Sorry. Okay. First of all, I'd like to begin by just saying, I'm not going to talk like someone who had it difficult in school, or I found it really hard to concentrate. I found it really hard this and that. Like I was hard to to reach the pass mark or whatever. I'm gonna admit here that I found it particularly alright. I wasn't too bad. I wasn't the best of the best. Like I was somewhere right there. And being in the kind of centerpiece of this whole being balanced sign kind of thing, you tend to see both of the sides. So I've experienced a situation where I have been in the situation where I didn't pass as well. I have been in situations where I have passed well. So I can kind of give my leverage. I can kind of leverage and see and look at both of the sides and kind of look at them according to how the person who we're talking about or the system which we're talking about puts it. So let's start with when you fail. I remember that it was the time during COVID. Remember that the time that we went to, I mean, sorry, when we were informed that we were going to go home, they didn't mention anything about COVID. I think they mentioned that, oh, you're gonna go home because there's a certain disease and the government has issued a circular that you guys are supposed to go home, so you're all gonna go home tomorrow. I remember being so thrilled. Like, you're literally in Form 2 or grade 12, whichever system y'all use. I was literally so freaking thrilled. I've never been home like in the middle of in the middle of a term. Like, the term is not done yet. You haven't done it. You haven't done an exam yet, so you're just going home abruptly. Nothing. Just you're going home and you don't even know when you're gonna return. And surely COVID was a whole shit show on its own, and that's not the main focus of this video. My point is, when we went home, there was a test that we'd done before that, before even the entire COVID thing happened. There's a test that we'd done, but the results weren't yet out. So what they did is that when we were at home, they released those results as the results that the parents was going to receive as, oh, this is how your child had performed when they were in school before COVID or whatever happened. And I remember I've never, before that, I wouldn't say I had ever been to this where where I've failed in a unit like really bad. So I remember my dad. When he got that message, he called me. He was with my mom at that moment, and he called me. He was like, he showed me that mark. It was for a test. I can't remember what the name of the test was or what unit it was for, but he gave me that. He showed me the phone and I saw the grade and I was like, oh shit, that is bad. And the face on my the expression on my dad's face could just tell it all. You could tell that this man was not happy. And then there was an entire lecture that happened there. Oh, we pay fees for you. We do all these things for you. Yet you go to school just to play and then bring me these kinds of grades. Oh, blah, blah, blah. A lot of stuff happened right there. And I remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, shit. If on its own, it did feel bad. I remember my not seeing even like that whole scenario was not even fitting for me. Like, I didn't feel well about that. I wasn't too cool about that. I was bummed as well, but most of all, I was just surprised that I too could like be on that side. I also could feel that bad because I'd never performed that badly before. It was like really bad. Out of all the tests that I've done before that, it was like the worst of them all. And my dad just lecturing me in that moment, I remember just thinking, holy shit, damn, this is bad. Like, oh man. Because that unit, it was a computer studies test. And we were doing computer studies, and I remember it was a practical, and I don't remember what happened, but I don't recall ever feeling that bad. And what I'm getting to with this story is, I remember imagining myself in another friend of mine's shoes, who wasn't particularly performing well regularly or a lot of times. He was never like on that higher end as they said on this other scale. He was like, his grades were never that high. And I remember even before that, every time that we talked about and then it got to academics and stuff, it was really hard for me to kind of understand or know how to help this person, because really we did used to study together and stuff. We did used to do some of the things that you'd say, oh, you weren't helping him. You were he probably brought you questions. So you were just like, oh, I don't want to show you, blah, blah, blah. Like, we were really good friends. And you can imagine both of y'all's tests coming back and one person has a really good grade and the other one is not as pleasant. It's not a good picture. And as much as we tried with him, does that sound sus? You know, I just listened to my statement and knowing that this person that I'm talking about is another guy. I'm sorry. I have a horrible mind. I'm sorry. Okay. And I remember just we had tried to fix it with him. Oh, please don't think about that statement. Like, oh, okay. I don't even know how to continue this story when I know what you guys are thinking now. But we had tried to fix it together, but it was it was hard because I didn't know how to help this person. Like, we're doing everything. I think I'm doing everything right, but when the test comes, nothing's happening. Like, nothing's reflecting, and this person started to. It kind of started to weigh on this person that, damn, maybe I am that quote unquote dumb. And as that person mentioned in the this entire, if we go back to the whole system thing, it does start to weigh on someone when they all they do is not perform. Maybe they're not it's not their specialty in a certain unit, or it's not their strength, but maybe they can do something else that a little bit practical or something a little bit different, and they can perform extremely well, even better than the person who's like really good at the theory part. So I think there are some systems which are like now fixing this, but particularly the one that I went through didn't have that much of an inclusion for people who were finding it hard to understand some of the things. It was all like, if you don't understand this, if you don't understand this now, and if you don't understand it later on your own, then that's gonna be a problem. And you can imagine how that could dawn on someone, like how that could feel for someone. Like, you every single time you're going home, your report card isn't even presentable or whatever. It makes you feel like you're not amounting to something, like something meaningful. Maybe I don't know if anyone even relates to, or even if anyone even understands what I'm trying to say here, but it does actually start to weigh on this person, and this person starts to believe what is coming out of those tests. Like, okay, maybe I am actually this dumb, maybe I am not actually that good, which can be like totally incorrect and not true. Okay, quick second, I have to charge my computer. Sorry about that. I had to charge my computer a little bit. But as I was saying, I think it kind of defeats the purpose of what school is really for. Because I don't think we're supposed to have a situation where after graduation, we have some people who are really feeling confident in themselves, and they've really learned a lot. And then we have on the other side, we have other people who haven't gotten that much from these classes because maybe it wasn't to their interest, it wasn't to their strengths, you know? And I also, I'm not going to act like I have all the answers to this, because I don't. As I said, I'm just some random idiot on the internet. I'm just some random person who's talking about stuff that they find interesting. So what do I really think about all of this? Why try? If I'm going to end up dead someday and forgotten, nobody's even going to remember that I existed at some point, what's the point even trying? So I have a few reasons as to why I do like the things that I do. Maybe it's going to resonate, or someone's going to get something out of this. But although we all stop existing at some point, I want to, try to make something of the little things that I have, of the little moment, of the little speck of or slice of time that I do have. I want to like try the dumb and stupid dreams that, like, the bucket list, fill out of all those items that are on there. Like, do whatever excites you, as another YouTuber, I think, called Kenley Wakasa says. Do what excites. Do whatever excites with the time slice that you have. Spend time with those people. Go chase that random ass dream. Go do whatever you feel you want to do. Because someday you're not going to be able to do that, and it's better to have done something than to regret not having done it, And I also try because I believe by trying, I'll probably find a why to why I'm doing what I'm doing. And the opposite, I think, is also true. By trying and by getting myself out there and by doing these different things, chasing my dreams and doing whatever, I get to have so many experiences and get to learn so many things that ultimately might just give me an answer to why am I even doing this. I might find a purpose and meaning to everything by just doing stuff, because if I choose the opposite, which is to just mope around and be depressed or whatever, just sink into a really deep shithole of feeling bad about yourself. Oh, I'm never gonna really amount to anything, or I don't really have that much money, I don't really have this and that. It's not gonna get you anywhere. I think just doing anything, and again, I'm just saying whatever I think. I'm just doing anything that you feel you want to do, because at the end of the day, you're the only one who's going to be affected when you die. You're the biggest party that's going to be affected. Yes, the people around you might be affected by your death and you not being there, but it's only going to be for a short while, and after a minute they're going to forget about you. They're going to move on. They're going to start doing something else, because even by yourself, maybe you have had people who have passed in your life, who have moved, who have died, but you're still not there. You're still continuing with your life. Your life didn't stop at that moment. So don't let yourself get held back by anything. Just do whatever you feel you should do and whatever you want to do. And another reason, which ultimately just leads up to the one that I just talked about before, I also try because I can help those who helped me when I didn't have it, or when I hadn't made it. For example, if you have parents, those people have sacrificed their lives to raise you. They could have done so many things with the money that they spent on you. They could have done so many different things. For example, my parents have helped me to to buy whatever gear that I do have, this mic, this tripod, this everything that I do have. They've been a part of that. They've been the first and early investors in this entire dream that I have. So if I don't try, then I'm ultimately just leaving whatever that they did. It's all just gonna go to waste. So why should that happen? If I'm not gonna try to, if I'm not gonna do it for myself, at least I'm gonna do it for them, because they tried, because they invested in me, and I want to have some sort of output, something to give back to them with, and also I also want to try because I know it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to do anything, the dream that you have, that bucket list item, just chasing your dream is not going to be easy. It's going to be hard, but I also want to try because of that. Because think of an example of something that was hard for you, but you did it and overcame it. You're really proud of that. I want to be proud that I actually started chasing my dream and I actually succeeded doing it. Because by not doing, which is the opposite, by not doing whatever I want, I know that I give up because it was hard. I didn't do it because it was frustrating. I didn't do it because I had a lot of challenges. The experience of doing it and maybe failing is going to be better and more have more value and meaning than not doing it, and ultimately not, because and not doing it and not even failing. Does that make sense? Not doing it and not failing. Never try, never fail, right? Which is the opposite is also true. If you try, you might succeed, and also you might fail. But if you fail, you tried. I say a lot of stuff, but yeah. Yeah, and also encourage people around you. Whoever you have around you that is having a hard time. Sorry, whoever you have around you and they're having a hard time in whatever that you're doing, help them. Be that person who was there for them when they didn't have anybody else to go to. Because if you're not there for them, if you don't help them now, possibly they don't have anybody else to go to. I just felt like saying that. I don't know if anyone agrees with that or feels anything towards that, but yeah. And I think that's all the thoughts. I think those are all the points that I had on this topic. It was a really short episode, this one, a little bit different than the last one, but thank you so much for watching and listening. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this, and if you're listening this on Spotify, please leave a 5-star. Let me know if you have any topics that you would like me to talk about in the comment section or in the show notes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.